Severe weather is not done yet, with strong tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail on the table. So I'm going to be talking about what you need to know about this severe weather potential. So let's get right into it. It is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, and we're going to start off with our day one outlook for today. As you can see right here, there is a slight risk of severe weather positioned over parts of the Dakotas today. There's a level 2 out of 5 slight risk, and then you can see here there's a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk that goes around that slight risk. And then there's also a marginal risk down here in parts of the southeast today. Remaining going to be looking at a chance for some damaging winds, hail, and a tornado today out in some of these areas. The main concerns for tornadoes will be up here in parts of the Dakotas today. So definitely if you're out here, definitely make sure you're having a way to get alerts today. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a 2% tornado risk right here, going from parts of North Dakota down to parts of western Nebraska. That does include Bismarck. Then there's actually a 5% tornado risk, which is a level above a 2%. Which is this brown out here in parts of northwestern South Dakota and southwestern North Dakota. So definitely be aware, especially if you're in that brown tornado risk. We're also going to look at a chance for some damaging winds today. As you can see right here, there's a 15% wind risk out there in parts of the Dakotas. We're going to be looking at a chance for some pretty large hail today, potentially very large hail, as we could be seeing up to Hennig size hail, potentially even more. So Bismarck, you guys are right in that zone of where we're expecting the most significant severe weather today, potentially. And then down here in the southeast, you guys can be expecting some damaging winds. Now for tomorrow on Wednesday, June 3rd, you can see here that there's a marginal risk going from parts of western Minnesota down to parts of the Texas Panhandle. And there's a slight risk right here going from western Minnesota down to parts of eastern South Dakota. And then there's another marginal risk down here near the Big Bend region in Texas. Tomorrow on Wednesday, June 3rd, definitely be aware for a potential for an isolated tornado, mainly out here in parts of northeastern South Dakota and southeastern North Dakota. That's where we're going to be looking at the chance for some tornadoes tomorrow. We're not looking at anything too crazy, maybe just an isolated tornado or two. This does include Aberdeen, South Dakota. So looking at a chance for some damaging winds tomorrow. There's a 15% wind risk out here, parts of eastern South Dakota, up to southeastern North Dakota. So that's going to be where our biggest wind risk is for tomorrow. And then we can be seeing hail up to Hennig size, potentially even more tomorrow as well, within this dashed lines, as that is a Sig 1 hail risk. Then on Thursday, June 4th, we're looking at a chance for severe weather, a very large area, going from southeastern Montana up into the upper peninsula of Michigan. There's a marginal risk. This is a very large marginal risk in those areas. And then there's a slight risk, which is level 2 out of 5 out there, parts of South Dakota, much of South Dakota, northern Nebraska, over there into northeastern Wyoming and southeastern Montana. Mainly going to be looking at chance for some damaging winds and hail. Checking out the future radar for today. You can see here up in the parts of the northern plains, you can see if we push up the future radar, we're going to have some rain kind of push through this morning and stuff, and then that's going to push out. And then we're going to actually get some storms to develop later today and really start to get going around 4 p.m. Eastern, and then pushing up more around 5 p.m. Eastern, and then 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have some more storms start to develop out there in western South Dakota, kind of those areas. Now we're really going to be watching parts of northwestern South Dakota and southwestern North Dakota, because that's where our biggest tornado is going to be. I mean, I do think they could shift it a little bit farther east and stuff, but or maybe even expand it. So that's kind of where our tornado risk is at with the storms that develop out there. So definitely be aware if you're out in these areas. This is what it could look like at 6 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then this is what it could look at 8 p.m. Eastern. Kind of as we get into the overnight hours, it will kind of calm down a little bit. Now switching over to significant tornado parameter, you can see here that it's not showing anything too insane here, but you can see that we do get some values out there, potentially getting up to 1. So that's low values, but it's still going to be enough for some pretty large hail, some damaging winds, and maybe even a couple of tornadoes. And switching over to storm relative helicity here. Some decent spin in the atmosphere today. It's nothing too crazy out here though, but you need those storms to be over there, and you can see there's definitely a little bit amount of spin. I wouldn't rule out maybe an isolated strong tornado today. So we're going to be definitely keeping an eye on that. And then you can see here that we do have some decent amounts of CAPE out there today. This stands for convective available potential energy. We're getting up to potentially 3,000 joules per kilogram. So this is just basically storm fuel. So definitely make sure you're strapping down unsecured objects, make sure you park your car in the garage and everything like that, and make sure to stay up to date with the forecast and have a way to get alerts. Now switching over to Future Radar for Florida and kind of those areas in southern Georgia, southeastern Alabama. We're gonna have some storms develop out there. I don't think it's gonna be anything too crazy. We're mainly gonna be producing a chance for some damaging winds. So yeah, definitely nothing too crazy out there in Florida today, but definitely make sure you're having a way to get alerts as we could have some storms pop up and potentially produce some damaging winds. I'm gonna rule out some water spouts too, as we might just have enough spin to potentially have a water spout or maybe even a tornado get spun up out there. So we're going to be watching that. Let's talk about tomorrow. So pushing it up for tomorrow on June 3rd, you can see that we're going to have some potential supercells pop up tomorrow on June 3rd around 5 p.m. You can see these storms could be producing some damaging winds, hail, and maybe even tornadoes. So we're going to definitely be watching June 3rd very closely there. So you can see we're going to have some storms develop, producing damaging winds, hail, and those will kind of congeal into a line, it seems like, 4, 5, 6 p.m. Eastern. This is kind of what it looks like around 7 p.m. Eastern. So it could look at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. You can see the time right here towards the bottom of the screen, but we're going to have some storms kind of push through those areas, producing some damaging winds, hail, and maybe even a couple tornadoes. Switching over the significant tornado parameter, you can see there's a decent amount of that. It's not going to be anything too insane. But definitely make sure you're having a way to get alerts, as we got ingredients coming to get together to create a chance for severe weather, including tornadoes, maybe even a strong tornado if we can get one of those storms to mature. And switching over to the Cape, this stands for convective available potential energy. Just think of it as storm fuel. There's definitely a decent amount of that tomorrow, potentially getting up to 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. So there's definitely a decent amount of storm fuel out there tomorrow. So all the ingredients are coming together for a potential severe weather outbreak tomorrow. And then out here in the Big Bend region, we're also going to have some storms pop up out there tomorrow, mainly just some isolated storms, producing a chance for some damaging winds and hail. So you guys make sure you have a way to get alerts if you're out there. Checking out the Rufus A model, you can see this is for Thursday. You can see if we push it up, we're going to have some storms develop out there in parts of South Dakota and parts of southern Minnesota, it seems like. So even into parts of the UP of Michigan. So definitely be aware out there. I do think we could be seeing a potential maybe for an isolated tornado, but also some damaging winds and hail on Thursday. So definitely make sure you're staying aware for Thursday, as we got ingredients coming together out there for severe weather on Thursday. So definitely they're going to move the outlook a little bit, probably, maybe even upgrade it. So we're going to be watching that very closely. All these severe weather setups, we're going to have a lot of rain come together for them, as you can see right here. And that's going to lead to some excessive rainfall, which is possibly going to lead to some flooding out there in parts of the plains. So definitely be aware for some flooding out there in parts of the plains, even into parts of the Midwest over the next few days, as there's going to be multiple severe weather chances out there, leading to a lot of rain. So pushing up the future radar some more, though, as we get into Saturday, June 7th, there's going to be some storms out there in parts of the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region, even in parts of the Midwest. Those could cause maybe a few gusty winds, maybe even some hail out there. So that's going to be something that we got to keep an eye on. And then, yeah, it looks like we're just going to be getting pretty active as we get into parts of June. So definitely get ready for some more severe weather. It looks like we're going to have a lot of severe weather. And we still got our Omega block and stuff. I don't think it's as crazy as it was earlier, because we've got a high pressure system setting up out here in the Great Lakes region, so that's kind of blocking some of the severe weather and everything like that, as you can see right there. So it's going to be kind of hard for severe weather to make it over there. Then that might move out of the way, which is why we might see severe weather on Saturday out there in parts of the Ohio Valley. Now switching over to our temperatures here, you can see that it's going to be getting pretty warm out there over the next few days, potentially into the 90s in parts of Texas, and 80s and 90s into parts of Texas, into the potentially lower 90s. So it's going to be getting pretty hot out there for some of you guys, as we're going to get a lot of summer heat coming, even out there in parts of the Southwest. So definitely make sure you're staying hydrated out there, as it's going to get pretty warm, especially out there in the plains. So get ready for some warm air coming, and yeah, just stay hydrated and everything like that. That's also going to come with a decent amount of humidity too, so definitely stay hydrated if you're out there. We're going to talk about some of the nice weather. So here's a nice weather outlook by another weather YouTuber. See that we got some beautiful and perfect weather setting up out here in parts of the Great Lakes region and Midwest, down into parts of the Ohio Valley. It's going to be very nice out here, especially within this area. So yeah, definitely definitely get outdoors and everything like that. It's going to be really, really nice. Definitely just stay hydrated, though, too. Even out here in the parts of Washington today, it's going to be really nice out there. So definitely get outdoors and everything like that. And then tomorrow, the nice weather is going to continue out there for parts of the Northeast and parts down and kind of down into the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region. Look at all this nice weather that we could be seeing in the Northeast tomorrow on Wednesday. So Northeast tomorrow on Wednesday, it's going to be very nice. Even out here in parts of Kentucky down to parts of Tennessee tomorrow, it's going to be very nice. So, and that should continue even as we get into Thursday out within these areas. So it's going to be very nice out there over the next few days. But just make sure you're still staying hydrated. It's going to get pretty warm out there. And that's pretty much all I got for you in today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to stay weather aware today if you're out in any of those areas. Have a way to get alerts and everything like that. And definitely stay up to date with the forecast and everything like that. I will not have a video out for a while because I am going somewhere. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.